Hey everybody, happy Monday. Hope everyone is doing amazing. So, I'm going to be waiting for my incredible friend Carol to jump on here with you guys. And we wanted to have a really wonderful, easy flowing, simplistic conversation about network marketing. And here she is. Let me bring her on. Here she is. And she is fresh back from vacation, so she should be very well rested and ready to go. We already connected earlier. Hi, I think it worked. I can hear
Can you
you.
hear me?
Can you hear me?
Hallelujah. I
Perfect.
can,
Okay,
sir.
so what I wanted to first do is, basically how we connected. We met through a mutual friend of ours, Tracy O'Malley, and you heard me kind of preaching to the choir as far as some things that you and I are both in alignment with is obviously communication and interacting and building human connection with people, which you and I both kind of agreed offline that there needs to be a bigger push back to it. So before we go into the guts of our conversation today, for for those that do not know who you are, and obviously you are from up north, and I am from down south, as far as the Canadian-U.S. border. So just introduce yourself to my network and what you do. Obviously, you are a network marketing professional, but how you found it and what you're most passionate about with it.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott. I love it because it was through, Tracy's Facebook Live that I found you. So the power of doing this really excites me. So hello, everyone. Hola. I just got back from 10 days in Mexico. So it'd been a while since I'd done my hair. This is only kind of half
Me
done,
too.
but
Me
this is the
too.
magic of this. Yes, right. And I was so excited to start a Monday with a conversation with you. So thank you for having me. And Cool's Notes 10 years ago, I was a frumpy, dumpy, super grumpy mama three. I put everything into being a mom. I spent lots of hours on the couch eating junk food, bitching and moaning about everyone else's life, and really was on a journey of self-discovery that I didn't know at the time. I really thought that the happiness would be found in a fit body. So I did all sorts of things to try to get fit by myself, right? All the fancy things, spend the money for the shots, get these things. And then I finally decided I needed to hire somebody to help get me to what I thought was the promised land. And I did that. I got in with a boot camp. Long story short, I started to change my diet. I started to work out. And at the age of 38 and a half, a seed was planted that I should try a
Mm.
fitness competition. So at 39 years old, I stepped on a stage, super proud. I had these abs. I had a great ass. I was like, woo! I didn't need a trophy. I wanted the photos like slapped all over my minivan. But what happened was I still didn't find the happiness. So I had the body, but I still didn't have the happiness. And at that time, obviously, when you change your body, people start asking you questions. I was blessed to be a stay-at-home mom for 11 years, but I knew that this marriage was going to be coming to an end, and I needed to find a way to support myself. So I got a job at Lululemon working retail because I lived in it, and woohoo, that sounds great. And I also started to do little nutrition seminars, teaching women, what I had learned about really just dieting, nothing nutrition, just dieting, because I was on a journey of not being fat. I didn't care about fitness at the time. And so, long story short, started helping people. I was introduced to network marketing in 2011. And at the time, I was like, well, I'm sending somebody to a supplements shop. Why can't I just make money sharing this supplement? Again, back then, full disclosure, I didn't know ingredients. I didn't care about ingredients. All I cared was that it tastes like mint chocolate chip and it would fill my belly for, 20 minutes. So my first company, I didn't look at anything. I'm a fast starter. I see energy and I go for it. And it was a new startup company to Canada. And that was my first foray into network marketing, MLM. I didn't know anything different. But because I led with passion then, I believed in the products. I believed in the journey. I believed in helping people. I had great success fast in that company. But 2 years in, I started to have like this month end running and having to hit ranks. And I could create income, but no matter what, I couldn't help anybody else do it. And I also started building an online community myself. So I started dabbling in entrepreneurship. I do know now I'm clearly an entrepreneur. I didn't know it at the time. And so I started to look at things that I didn't like. I started to want better ingredients for myself. So as soon as I started doubting that, I couldn't, hold the space for sharing a product. And there's parts of the company that just started to feel really icky to me. And so I walked away and I thought, okay, I tried it. Cool. That's not for me. And I started doing like one-on-one training. I started building my online business to a great 6-figure income. But that promise of residual income that I, saw from a stage, and I don't know if I tasted residual very much, because really in my company, I never stopped working for the money. So it probably wasn't residual. It was just hard ass linear income, like pedal to the metal. But I still had that dream of being home with my kids and creating this freedom lifestyle. So I kind of went on a little hunt, and, I'll shut up, but a little bit later, I'll get into kind of when we talk about connecting and how to really build this. The funny story of a person I chatted with in my first company actually introduced me to the company that we're with now. And I'm so blessed for my first experience in, all the different ways that maybe didn't feel good, and to find my way here. And now I've been here 6 years, obsessed with educating people about what network marketing is. It is not for everybody, but I'm obsessed with them understanding what it is so that they can make a wise decision accordingly.
So
here we are.
before we get into all of that, and, first, thank you for all of that. It's amazing. And I believe in alignment, and I believe in, people connect and really form relationships for a reason. So you've been in the business, you've become a cumulative millionaire in the company. So you've achieved the highest achievement that one could achieve in a network marketing business, which is becoming a cumulative 7-figure earner and beyond. And that is, first of all, incredible, and it's so well deserved. What do you feel, if you had to put your thumb on one thing of what is separating the doers and the ones that are achieving whatever success they wish to achieve? Because again, Carol, I think we can both agree that some people don't require $100,000 a year to be free from their old job. They don't require even $50,000 a year. This could be someone that has been at home, and the husband or the wife or whoever's working makes a very nice income and loves what they do, and this could be someone that just wants to make $30,000 to $40,000 a year residually. So, but my whole point is that no matter whether you want to make $30,000 a year or $3 million a year, it still requires the same type of things. So, with that being said, if you had to put your thumb on one thing that separates the successful from the dabblers, what is that one thing?
Belief that you can do it.
So why do you feel, or what do you feel is a contributor to someone's lack of belief in themselves, and if they can do it or not?
Yeah, that's a deep one. I'm on a full investigation journey of figuring that out. Whether it's tied to the body change, fitness side, business side, entrepreneur side, I find, because I've been blessed to work with thousands of people on both sides of the journey, I think it just ties back to a lot of stuff in their upbringing, in their life. And I was really blessed to be brought up in a great household. And it's funny, my father, now that I get it, is not like an entrepreneur that never stopped. Like, his brain is like always working on something. He's 80. And when I grew up, he was an accountant. And I was like, I am not going to be an accountant. I don't want to be anything like my father. Turns out I'm exactly him. And so I recognized that I was modeled this behavior. I was modeled a great lifestyle with my mom home and us having trips, and not lavish like bala bala, but a beautiful life that I was modeled. So my ceiling of an income and a life was this. And so in all of the personal development that I've done and the people that I've met, and I recognize that so much of what limits us is, you know, someone telling us we're stupid, someone telling us we're fat, someone telling us we're a loser, someone telling us money doesn't grow on trees, money's bad. And so I'm filled with such gratitude that I wasn't imprinted with those ideas. And I recognize that that's a reason I've been able to get to a level maybe faster, because I didn't have to unpack. Now there's other stuff I've had to unpack, and I'm learning to unpack. But I think that that's such a huge part of it. And when you were on my podcast, you know, your story is so
Thank you.
remarkable that you had all of these things and you got through them, and it just like blows my mind. And so I think we just have to make a decision that we want it. And then if there's roadblocks, we have to make a decision to to bust through the roadmap. Like it's all about us individually. We can't blame the person that called us stupid. We can't blame, you know, our parents for, you know, we just have to take ownership, decide, and lead.
Yeah, you know, I feel that I don't want to say it's repetitive, but what I have found is that there's a few key components that go into a success plan for whether someone is in network marketing or not. And obviously, you know, belief in oneself is absolutely paramount if you want to do something, because when you can believe in yourself, your journey, your vision, your values, all of those things, it really just pushes you forward in that direction. I would also put along that line, deciding, making the decision to commit to yourself and committing to your goals and doing all of those things. I think that's another thing that really needs to be brought to the surface, because there's a lot of people, and you and I spoke about this offline, is that, you know, don't tell me what you want to achieve, show me. So it's you know, actions will always speak louder than words. And I think third, it is just that, taking action. There's a lot of people that say they want to achieve something, and they want to do it, but then the yeah buts come into play. Yeah, but I don't have the money to invest, and yeah, but I still have a job. Yeah, but I have kids. Yeah, but. And my whole point of that is that how do you ever expect to achieve something if you're letting your yeah buts get in the way? Because we talk about in life is like a vehicle. It's almost like a manual car. You know, you have neutral, you know, you have first, second, third, fourth, fifth gear in reverse. And when you let those yeah buts get in the way, you're floating between neutral, which means you're kind of just staying still, or you're throwing the car into reverse, worrying about your past stories that are holding you back from putting that car into first gear and slowly moving forward. So I know this is a loaded question and there's no right or wrong answer, but what do you feel is stopping people from taking action? Oh, the one thing, okay, I have one rule with that question. The one thing that I don't want included is the word fear, because fear, okay, so you can say anything but fear, because fear, obviously you and I both know, is self-created. We create fear from past experiences. So if we take fear out of it, because everyone says, I'm afraid. If fear is out of the equation, what would you then say is the reason why people don't take action?
Without fear.
Because fear is learned. Fear is learned.
Gosh.
You know, as when you and I were kids, we weren't afraid of shit. You know, we would fall down, we would get back up. We would fall down, we would get back up. And this is, you know, this is one of those things. So let's take fear out of it. What do you think a contributor to someone not taking action is?
I don't even know how to do that without taking fear out of it. That's the whole thing. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of what other people think, going against the grain. I honestly don't know how to answer that without it just being fear.
So my whole point is
Thank God.
was just that. So and this
Okay.
is what I've learned, is that the reason why people aren't achieving something, um, just like you said, they have a fear, a self-inflicted fear of judgment, a self-inflicted fear
Mm-hmm.
of failure, a self-inflicted fear of what others will think, a self-inflicted fear of what if. And you're familiar with Eckhart Tolle just as much as I am, and he has a wonderful book called The Power of Now, and he talks about the three stages of consciousness. There's the fear state, which is you are afraid of the future, of what hasn't happened yet. And then there's the past, living in your past, where you're living in anxiety and stress about this, that, or the other. And then there's the now, which is when you live in peace, because the only time that we can control is the time that we have right now. So with that being said, because you and I both know that fear plays such a vital role in someone's failure or success, what is something, and network, and it's funny because you see fear most, Carol, in entrepreneurship, because when people
Oh
have a
yeah.
job, maybe the fear that they're going through is maybe the interview process of getting that job. They get the job and then they kind of relax into the normalities of every single day. But in entrepreneurship, it's like this. I mean, you are on a roller coaster ride. So what has helped you overcome some of the fears in your life?
Mm. I love that. And thank you. Because I thought, oh my God, I'm so blonde right now. I don't have an answer to his question. So I'm so glad. I'm like, yeah, that was smart. Um, oh, so many good things. Being around, well, when I got a divorce and when I went through fitness shows, I learned really quick that I was going to be judged. And I would look at the people and realize that, okay, are they living in a happy marriage and judging me for having a marriage that's ending? No. Are they living in a fit, healthy body and judging me that I'm doing fitness shows? No. So I started to learn, who am I around? And I started to come to our events and do things and really look up to the people that were doing the things that I wanted to do. And so then I had belief in myself that, hey, as long as I follow the course, I'll at least, figure out and get some of that. And so being around and being modeled by people and mentors, whether it's podcasting, events, or, because my enroller was never plugged into this. I didn't have any spoon feeding of how to do this. And I tell my team on the regular, I still don't really know what I'm
Right.
doing. 9 years in, it's just ever evolving. And so being around people for sure helped that. And then just being obsessed with that uncomfortable feeling. You talked about on my podcast, University in Action, David Wood, a great man. I had him on my podcast as well, just before your episode, actually. And he just teaches us that everything magical happens in the uncomfort zone. The good sex, the good money, the good relationships. So I was like, sign me up. Sign
So
me up
just
on all
to
of
just
that.
to intervene,
Right.
our mutual friend Brooks Holland just commented, and he said the discomfort of where you are in life has to outweigh the discomfort of taking action and doing the internal work.
Well, Brooksy, hello, Brooksy. Brooksy knows all about that for sure. We had a great conversation last time I saw him, and that is it. Being obsessed with that uncomfort zone became something that I was seeking. And when I get into a rhythm where it's just kind of like, yeah, I got this, and it's great. The income's coming, the team's coming. I start to learn who I can, who I really want. I learn to stop dragging. But then there's still a state, no matter what income level
Mm.
you've reached, that it's like, eh. And when I did my podcast, I was scared. And so it's putting yourself in that zone that you can look back and say, like, come on, I'm 49 years old now. What I've done in the last 10 years is
Yeah.
ridiculous. But what I'm going to do in the next 10 is going to be even more great for me, because the zone just keeps growing. The people that come around you match the zone and are higher, and then you elevate to them. And it's like, I just read Robin
Mm.
Sharma when I was away. I read 2 of his books, Beachside. It was so epic. And, he just talks about, then there's the next mountain. and the next mountain, but being attracted to that and not like, oh, I got another mountain to climb. I'm like, woohoo, what's the next mountain? And then going through all the ups and downs of each level. So I don't know if
No,
I
you
even
did,
answered the
and I
question.
think that the one thing that it's helped me, and I've had multiple businesses, and I think the one thing that's always helped me is being resilient, because there's always going to be something that is going to try and knock you down. And I did a Facebook Live last night, and it was an interactive live, and I took people through this 3-step exercise of the importance of your why. And and I said to people, I said, there's 3 steps. Number 1, you have to get crystal clear on your why, because just to say, this is why I'm doing network marketing, to fire my boss or retire or whatever. I mean, it's such a general why. I said clarity is king. You need to get crystal clear on your why. And number 2, you have to be committed to that why. Because if you may say that's my why, but if you don't physiologically, emotionally, mentally commit to that why, the third and most important thing of that is never going to happen, which is taking action, taking massive action on your why. So I took people through this exercise, and I had them write down their why on an index card, and then below that, write down, I am committed to my why, and I had them put it on their mirror so they can look at it every single day when they look at themselves before they start their day. And I did it, my fiance did it, we took pictures, we posted on social media. And I'm going to ask you this: how important, because there's been ups and downs of your life, and there's been ups and downs on everything that you have done, how important has being crystal clear with your why assisted you in getting to where you are today?
It's everything. I did a keynote back in April for our Canadian big event. And I came to the realization, because I love motivating people. I love talking. I love, like you speaking fires me up. I love doing that to other people. But then I realized, why were so many people not like getting it? Like, why were they not moving their needle forward, whether in my business or any business or whatever? And I recognized that, and I Googled it. So I think I made up this
It's
quote.
okay.
So don't take it from me. Not you, but the people. Motivation without vision is worthless. So if you don't have, the reason why every event, every podcast, every book fires me up and I go is because I believe, I see it. I've seen it all. I saw a millionaire. I saw Kathy Coover calling me. I see everything that happens. I saw my 2 fitness titles. I saw my husband. I've just seen it. The journey I'm on right now, I see the outcome crystal clear. And so any motivation I just pull from, and it just it's like gasoline. It just sends me up. And so back to that belief and the vision, to your point, seeing it, feeling it, touching it, tasting it. What are you wearing? I used to think that stuff was hooky maluki. Natalie Brooks's wife, we met forever ago, and we talk about vision boards and stuff, and I used to be like, wah, wah, wah. I'd slap someone's ass on a vision board like I want that ass. Well,
right.
That ain't gonna work. Like, I gotta have my own ass. And so, but you really do start to recognize, okay, if you don't, my office wall, it's just all like vision board. And funny enough, not, my husband and I were just in Mexico, and we stayed at a resort, a hotel, an eco resort that someone had told me about 4 years ago, that when I checked it out, I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to afford to stay in this place. Well, what do you know? There we stayed this weekend or last week. And I didn't even connect it till I was sitting in the space. And I was like, holy shit, this is exactly like, even though I didn't put it on the vision board as where it was, in my brain, I saw it and said, I want to be there one day, even though I discounted it, it planted a seed in my subconscious, and there I was. So if we don't have the vision, it doesn't matter how many times you plug into Scott, it doesn't matter how many books you read. And that's kind of part of my like sticky point, is like the people that are just consuming, and not doing anything.
I thought that you just said it. I said I was thinking, I'm like, yeah, everyone's consuming this and consuming that, but the one thing they're not doing is taking action. They're not doing the work. And between you and me, I think the events are phenomenal, and they really ground you. But people need to understand, and I think, I say it all the time, explain to people, I don't like using the word hard or difficult because, again, I think that they're conceptually created by ourselves. But what I want you to openly discuss right now is that network marketing is not easy. It's not. It's not for everyone, but every single person has the same God-given opportunity to achieve anything they want. Every single person starts off the same way. Everyone puts in that first initial order, but what differentiates someone making income to someone not making income is what they do once they order that first box. So talk about that for a second, because you mentor a lot of people just as I do, and we see some common things. So we know network marketing isn't easy, but what can someone do? Not to take a shortcut, but what can someone do to create a happier and more enjoyable journey, knowing that it's not going to happen in 12 months. It's not going to happen in 24 months, 36 months, 48 months. This is sometimes a 4 to 8 year build. What can you say to that to make that person feel more comfortable and better about their journey?
Well, I think one part of it is actually treat it like a business. I think one thing that's happened, because it's a beautiful avenue that you can fit in the pockets of your life, and because it's from home and from the beach and from the schoolyard, because it's that, a lot of people don't recognize that there are skills involved. To your point, it's still a business. And there's still skills involved, and there's sales skills, and there's communication skills, and there's speaking skills, and listening skills. And when I started, I believed that it was just whatever. Like, there was no skills. It was just be this happy person and people will come to you. And while that is true, and back in the day when Facebook actually worked and you were a happy person and you posted something, everyone would flood your inbox, right? And so the truth of it is like there's just so many skills involved. And I think that people want to make the money. Like I love getting is it a pyramid question? Because I would say 5 out of 10 people that join me actually want it to be a pyramid, because they want to just sit on their ass and have money flow in for them doing nothing. So there is still effort that needs to be made. There's still skills that need to be learned, but it is not easy, but it is simple. And that's where people have a hard time, I feel, because to get success in life, you need to slug it out, and it needs to suck, and everything needs to be hard, and you got to grind it out, and then you're victorious. Or you got to beat everybody up and squish them down and not give any of your secrets and keep them all to yourself so that you can be victorious and everyone can say you're amazing, and then you're successful. And network marketing, when done right, is the total opposite. Be in service to others. Give them all your secrets. Everything that took me 6 years to learn, I'm trying to help my people, learn it faster, because I had to figure my way out. And then they either choose to accept that or go their own way, which is awesome too. And this is a business where you rise together, and it doesn't have to be hard. And that's that disconnect that I find most people have in life, is seeing that they can create this income without it sucking every minute. And you can actually have joy and be a better lover, a better wife, a better mom, better in any business area when you allow the personal growth part of this to dictate the income that you can make. And that, I think people have a hard time connecting. They want to sell a product, make a buck, and they can't see what's possible. And that's the promised land. That next 4, 6, 8 years is like the holy crap. But a lot of people can't stay in it long enough, and they quit.
So let's go back to something that you touched on, and you said, when Facebook was working. And I think you and I think the door opening moment for you and me was when Tracy and I were talking, and I was speaking about how I had this feeling of upset about 3.5 years ago because of the lack of social interaction and social connection on Facebook. And I found myself being taught how to get people and how to, inauthentically just friend people on Facebook to then, when they became a friend on Facebook, pitch them for a product or whatever it is. And I found such a disingenuine thing being taught on social media. And as it so happened, in the last 3.5 years, the platform of Facebook has completely changed. It is not what it was when you and I first got started. It's completely different. It's a lot of posting and praying. It's a lot of posting and waiting. Everyone is pretending that life is so good and everything's amazing. Let me take a filtered picture here, and and what gets, like, and I jokingly say this, but I see all the time, I see all these really pretty pictures of women in these beautiful white kitchens, and they're wearing crop tops and their boobs are falling out of their shirts, and they're wearing booty shorts, and their kids are hanging around the kitchen, and they're drinking their coffee and holding their laptop over their head, and money is raining from the sky, and everyone has this, it's this conceptual look and feel of network marketing, when that's not what it looks like. That's not what network marketing is. And if that's what you want it to look like for yourself, that's fine. My whole point is that right now, the most important aspect of network marketing that needs to be taught, that is being undersold and undervalued, is the importance of creating human to human connection through the means of social media. Because social media, and people can say, they can talk about meetup groups, they can talk about sip and samples, they can talk about vendor tables, all of those things that just gets bodies in front of you. But we're talking about quality over quantity. So let's talk about human connection for a moment. For someone to succeed in network marketing, how important is it for those individuals to be in the trenches of what they're doing for their network marketing team and business to create that connection, that rapport, and that relationship, specifically on social media? And if they're not finding it on Facebook, obviously you and I talked about LinkedIn. Why is it important for them to find that wherever they want to go and look for it?
Well, in this day and age that we have this ability to open our network globally through whatever social media, I mean, it's like the golden time, the perfect storm of network marketing, because we get to find these great people. And so the thing that is great about social media, and it was in Facebook world back in the day, was, when I got a divorce, I found other moms that were getting divorces, and we became instant friends. When I was in the fitness world, I just like instant friends with all these fitness people. And so it gives you an ability to create these relationships with people with common interests. And so I do know that back in 2011, 2012, this was, you were able to just create these authentic relationships because there was no filtered pictures. I trust me, I filter some, I don't filter some. I get so freaking frustrated half the time. Like, why can't I just post the post? Oh my God. Like I
get
love hate with it. I love it because I can connect with people. I hate that I have to do something that maybe doesn't authentically feel like me so that people can see me. Anyway, that's a whole side story. That's where LinkedIn goes. And so the human connection is absolutely everything. And even before social media, Facebook, Instagram started slowing down, I was constantly saying the people that will build this old school style. Yes, it's great. I got to plug yes, it's great that, I'm going to go this way. Yes, it's great that we have the ability to build on social media, but what if Facebook closed? What if Instagram closed? Like, you have to be able to have conversations with people. And if you meet them on social media, you have to be able to connect with them on a human level. And so without that, it's icky. And funny enough, Brooks's wife, Natalie, when I first started, we met and Facebook worked. So there wasn't like and Natalie was already building a wicked brand. And I got attracted to her. Why? She had been fat, she got fit, and she had had a divorce. So instantly, I'm like, we can be besties. I was fat, I got fit, I had a divorce. And I had just started in my company. Now, remember, I believed in my products. They were like gluten-free and all this jazz. And Natalie, like celiac, gluten-free, that's all she was talking about. So I inboxed her when she actually saw an inbox, when inbox works. And I was super authentic. And I'll never forget it. And she actually texted me yesterday. So she'll probably text me again today. And she said, I have to tell you, Carol, she had started to build a pretty big brand, but she said, you're probably one of 50 people that have messaged me about joining a company, but you're the first person to talk about how your products might be able to help my community. I think you should write a book called How to Not Be a Douchebag Network Marketer. And while I hate multi-level marketing, I will honor you and take a look at what you have because I like the way you've presented it. So long story short, she looked at it. She's like, the products are crap. I probably should have listened to her then, but I was in my own little bubble. But we stayed friends and we built this relationship. So funny enough, the day I decided to leave my first company, she called me up and said, I know I'd said I'd never do MLM. I found a company that's not, and here I am. So that was a human connection we made on social media. And we had common interests and we built the relationship and it became this. And then the trust was there. And there's no trust. I don't care. Like, I'm a freaking great business person, but no one's going to just join me because my pictures look great. And how do they know that I've really made that income? And to be honest, no one's ever actually asked me how much money I've ever made in this business because we build relationships and they can feel my authenticity and I get to know about them. And if I don't know about them, how the hell am I going to present my products or my opportunity as something that's good for them? And that's the freaking problem. Nobody is taking time to understand, what does Scott need right now in his life? And if we don't know that, then the disconnect is there and then nobody moves forward with products or opportunities.
And that's why, I truly love LinkedIn so much, is because, I'm finding now on Facebook that everyone's just looking to sell someone something. So there's too much selling and telling, and there's not enough asking and listening. Because when you ask someone a question, they're going to give you an answer, and that answer is going to allow you to form a relationship and a connectability to maybe a solution of how you can help them. And again, the fact is that you and Natalie have a ton of commonalities. You have basically the same business and personal background. And that's what I fell in love with LinkedIn, because it allows you to connect with people that are just like you: business background, personal backgrounds, interests, income levels, age, whatever it is. Because, you and I spoke about the fact that everyone that is on Facebook and they're still pushing hard, thinking they're going to revive the dead, they're talking to the same people over and over again, expecting someone to say yes, this, that, or the other. Will you have someone fall through the cracks? Absolutely. But it's far and few between at this point. If you're constantly talking to the same people and you're literally pitching and selling all the time, everyone is fishing in a red ocean right now on Facebook. Everyone's fighting for everyone's attention. And when you look at a platform like LinkedIn, and this is what attracted you to reach out to me so we can have a more deeper conversation, which led to our podcast, which led to this, and leading to my podcast with you and all this other stuff. What is it about LinkedIn that really had you so curious but intrigued, and you're like, okay, that makes sense. That's a blue sea over there where I can be the one, even if I'm 6 or 7, 8 years in. This is my opportunity to leave those footprints of success for other people to follow. Meanwhile, I'm sitting on a beach like it's Memorial Day weekend and there's no room to even open my umbrella. So what's I don't even know where I come up with these analogies, but they just kind of like they make sense. So what intrigued you? What had you so interested in LinkedIn, and why you feel that is a great opportunity for network marketers to not shift all of their attention, just some of their attention, on getting back to the grassroots of connecting with other human beings?
Well, a couple of things, mainly because when I first launched my networking business in 2011, 2012, Facebook worked. And so I had the ability to make connections and common interests. And so when I now get that Facebook is saturated, nobody sees posts, and you got to, do all this rigmarole to make sure, go comment on 25 people's things so that they see you're live. I'm like, I don't have effing time for that, God, that's not time management to me. So when you said that, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Because again, I love the social media part of it. Where else can I, and I love Instagram too, but where can I really go and be around people that I want to be around? And part of that though, it was also the growth in Facebook when I started. It was, you know, other women on their journeys. It was other women that were, you know, divorced and maybe asked me how I was able to kind of leave, you know, and have some cash, whatever that is. And so then as I've grown as a networker and as I've learned the skills, I learned that there are certain people that I really want to partner with. They're the people that, you know, had already been through some of it. They were entrepreneurial. They understood, you know, yeah, I constantly say I was a stay-at-home mom, but then I'm like, wait a minute, I actually had a lot of skills. And so I think network marketing gets in that mix of, it's great for the little stay-at-home mom who wants to have a party and sell some jam and make $10, but it's a business. And so if I want to elevate to that next level for my family, for that legacy, for that cushion, then I want to do it with people that can take it and run with they've already built the skills. They have the self-confidence. They understand personal development. They understand presenting. They are good with themselves. I don't have to, come on, Scotty, get out of the house today and say hi to the neighbor. No, I love helping people bust through plateaus, but if I want to build a business, if I want my executive board, I want my next wave of executive boards to be executive mentality. And that's on
And I think
LinkedIn.
and
I
I think
wasn't
one
there.
of the main things that people have to understand is you're going to have that first wave of people. You're going to have those people, and there's going to be some that stay and some that go. And it's usually 50-50. So half stay, half go, and then the other. But you always have to look to replace those that initially. I can share with you is that most people they're still working off of those first initial people that came into this, and you know, there's people that I talk to all the time that their businesses are down, not because they're doing anything wrong. It's just you know, network marketing is not something where people put their 2 weeks notice in. They just sneak out the back door if they don't want to do this anymore. And even if you show them how to make the money, you're still looking for someone that is self-driven, self-motivated. They're a self-starter. They have an entrepreneurial spirit. You know, they want to build their own team. They're going to come to you when they need you. They're not going to rely on you for everything. So you know the power, just as I do, as the importance of residual income. And I want you to just I want you to just speak to this before we get off. How, and you know, for all the network marketers that are listening to this live and on the replay, and they're struggling building their team, they are really having a difficult time refacilitating how to create residual income, and they're working off that active money that you and I spoke about, the cash flow quadrant. Everyone is getting the one-time enrollment bonuses and the one-time rank advancements and the one-time this and the one-time that. For someone to truly succeed, whether it's $1,000 a week, it's $4,000 a month, it's $10,000 a month, whatever it is, how important is it for that individual, if they're serious about growing a network marketing business, for them to focus on the team building aspect?
It's everything. And that's, again, the disconnect of what network marketing is. And in most businesses, it's just me, go, go, go. I'll get everything. And this is something that, and it took me a while to understand that, because I came with fitness ego. I came with me. I came with all of that. And I would hear people talk about being in service. And I'm like, what does that mean? What does it mean to be in service? And so the building of the team is actually everything. Because, and then again, it depends what company you're with and how the comp plan all structures out. And to that point of a lot of people stopping, I feel so blessed that in my business, both of my legs were always even. So I never stopped. I never got that taste. And so I'm just like in everything in life, recognize the blessing of it, and realize that because I never stopped, I up leveled, and then the people that I brought in up leveled, and now I've got a new couple of amazing people that I'm like, woo, but I've been talking to them for 5 years, right? And that was the other part of it. And so I feel like I'm just starting today. To be honest, I feel like I'm just starting. And that's such a great feeling too. And so building a team is so important. And that's some of the things that I've really had to delve into is leadership and how to help people's people. And, you know, I'm constantly just a rigmarole of figuring it out, which is great. But without building a team, you know, I've enrolled just over 400 people, myself personally. Our company is high product, right? High customer, but great retention. So I've got customers that have been mine for 6 years, 5 years, 4 years, and people can't get it. I've got a lot of fitness people that are joining me, and, you know, they're used to being sponsored athletes, and they just don't understand that you can make an income based on the consumption that somebody orders month after month after month. And so my 400 has gone to 23,000 people.
And
that's
and here's the thing, and
ridiculous.
Emily just wrote leadership as you were talking about it, but here's the thing, that there's different kinds of leadership, and I'm going to use you and Emily as examples, is that you lead by example. But here's the thing, you know, this word influencer, you see being spread around social media, and there's courses now that you can take on how to be a social influencer. So here's the thing, influence is a direct it's a direct correlation to impact. So the more people that you impact, the more lives you end up influencing. And if you impact people the right way, you influence them the right way, and then in turn, you create the right type of leadership. And that's the thing, you know, I'll go back to it. Actions speak louder than words. If you want to build an organization, you have to get out of your head, and you have to get into your heart. Because when you have a heart of service, when you have a heart of service in the it's not about me, it's about how can I serve others. And this is a service-based business. You know, going back to my grassroots of running my gyms and my personal training business, it was not about me. It's how can I serve you? And when you can foundationally teach that to your individual builders and your team, that find out how you can impact each individual person so you can influence them to want to do the same for others. It's the compounded effect. It's the way that you leave people better. So let's wrap up with this. What is the number one thing that someone can do after getting off this live or the replay or whenever they're seeing this? What is something they can start doing right now to not only better build their team, but to better build their impact, their influence, which will then lead to the residual income that they're seeking?
Well, and just to touch on that, like, I think everyone goes through a phase of like ego and desiring recognition and, you know, wanting to be the person on the stage. Like, everyone, I think, has to go through that probably level. It's like the levels of leadership to then recognize, well, wait a minute, it's no fun being here at this trip or on the stage with nobody else. And so when you go through that, and I think you have to actually be in that space to show that. And Emily's just a beautiful example of that. You know, she impacts the world of network marketing just in her, you know, little squares and her lives. And, you know, she's a mentor to me without her even knowing it, but she embodies it. And so back to my previous, you know, who do you use as a beacon to show up? Like she's one of them, and hers was Kathy. And so it just makes so much sense. And so when you get there authentically, then you show up differently. You don't care about the titles, the rank, the recognition. You don't care about being in the square or being, you know, clapped at. You want to get down into the trenches with the people and really serve. And I'll say this really quickly. I was just in Mexico. I didn't plan to prospect. You know, I don't go out to prospect. I go out to have great experiences in life. Yes. And I met an amazing man that helped us with our bags. Great guy. And of course, you know, we're network marketers. So we say that he'd be great for my business. Like, the stories go back in our head, of course, right? But I got to know him over the course of the time. And he's a fighter. And he was telling me how he had said to his little son, puppy, daddy's going to go and do a fight to make some more money. We need more money. Are you okay if I go do a fight? And his little son, who's 4 years old, he said, yes, Daddy, we need money. Yes, Daddy, we need money. And he said, well, it's going to mean I'm going to be away from you a lot, because I've got to work my job, and then I've got to go to the gym, and I've got to train, and I've got to train for 4 weeks to 6 weeks to do this fight. And he said, you know, he'd earn between 400 to 600 US dollars after spending all of this time away from his son. And so because I needed him to know that there was another way potentially, I simply said, if there was a way that you could make that amount of money or more in that amount of time, and you're home with your son, would you be open to taking a look at it? Now, we had built a relationship over 5 days.
You weren't saying this to him as he was helping you with your bags. You formed a connection. You listened to him and his story, and you found out the details. And then once that trust and that rapport and that relationship, the foundation of any connection, is built, that wall of resistance, that wall of please stay away, that wall of don't pitch me comes down. And you know what? Every single time they're going to be more open to taking a listen and a look. I mean, and Carol, we talk about how confusing people make this for themselves, and it's really simple. You don't look to sell, you look to connect, because it may not be that person. It may be an introduction to someone that person knows, that says, you know what, it's not for me. I love my job, but you know what? I have a girlfriend, serial entrepreneur, loves health and wellness. Let me do an introduction. Because again, someone's going to be more willing to refer someone to you if you've taken that time to build the relationship, rapport, and trust with them. This is all about forming, and you talk about B2B and B2C, right? This is about H to H. This is about human to human connection. So
even when they say no, you still stay. You want to still be in their life and support them. You don't just say, on to the next. If you have a connection, you have a connection, whether they're in your business or not.
You're not looking to just get anyone in your business. Everyone is on their own path of life. And that's why not everyone does network marketing, and that's okay. Because you want to have meaningful relationships. You know, some of my most meaningful relationships are people in network marketing, and some of my most meaningful relationships are people that are not in network marketing. It's the same. It's still people. You know, just because you want it for them, that's great, but they have to want it for themselves. And I talk about something called the 51-49 rule. If you want it 51% for them and they want it 49% for themselves, they're never going to do it. But if it's reversed and that individual wants it 51% for themselves and you want it 49% for them, guess what? You got a winner. And it's as simple as that. So Carol, I just wanted to thank you so much for stepping on here today. And obviously this went longer than we planned, but I believe in the flow of life, and conversation happens when it needs to happen. I am truly so grateful for you and our budding friendship and relationship, and all of the wisdom that you've given me and the things that I've been able to give you. So thank you for your time. Any last words for the audience before you jump off?
Oh, just thanks for the space, Scott. And I really love, you know, just how you're shining the light on network marketing and how you're giving out to everybody, of taking a look at LinkedIn, and just really, regardless of the platform, bringing back the heart-to-heart connection. And that's what drew me to you on Tracy's Facebook, because that's the hurdle I think people are really stuck at, that's giving the icky feeling. And so thanks for taking the ick out of it and spreading
Absolutely. And I'm looking forward to doing more with you, my podcast, your podcast, another Facebook Live later this week. So everyone stay tuned. And Carol, thank you so much again for being here today. And I just wish you nothing but continued success and love and everything into your life. Take care, Carol.
Thank you, Scott. Bye, everyone.
So again, I'm just going to end it right there, just because that was, I suggest everyone, if you're just jumping on here late, go back to the beginning, watch this. I know it's long. I know this was about almost an hour live, but it was so worth it in so many different ways. So guys, thank you so much for joining today. Love, gratitude to each and every one of you for jumping on here, saying hi, leaving your comments, your words of wisdoms. And just remember, when you have full truthful belief in yourself and what you're doing, you can't be stopped. Guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.